to the Big Scope. I'm here with Amit Roy of Think Tank.
Hi.
How are you doing, Amit?
All well, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, I'm good. So, we're here to talk about, name doesn't suggest it actually, but we're here to talk about food. Talk about restaurants, bars in India. And you have a very interesting job, because I've never seen this before. You go to restaurants, you don't, I mean, you set up your own restaurants on the side, but your business helps people set up restaurants.
Correct.
So you're a restaurant consultant, is that the word?
Yeah, we are an F&B consultant or a restaurant consultant,
Okay.
but we don't specify ourselves just as restaurants. We do the entire gamut, which is food and beverage. So it could be even a small cafe to an industrial kitchen in a factory,
Oh, wow.
to your clubhouses, to hospitals. So basically anywhere where there's food and beverage involved, we provide assistance.
All right, and so I just want to know, what does that mean? Why do I need a consultant? If I'm opening a restaurant, I have an idea of what it wants to be. I'm guessing I have my own designs, I have my chef, I have my manager. Why do I need another person in the mix?
So certain times the key factors are to understand where passion and business comes into play.
Okay.
The first thing is, like you rightly said, you have your chef, you have your manager, you know what restaurant you want to be.
I'm assuming I'm passionate. I mean, you open a restaurant, it's not exactly a money-making business.
But do you know whether that particular restaurant will work in that location or no? What should be the price point where you target yourselves? Is there a demand for that? Are you behind the curve or ahead of the curve?
But I'm guessing I should do my own research for that, right?
Correct, but so that's where it is. Are you capable enough to do the research, and how do you analyze the situation from there? Whether it's going to work or not.
Right.
So that's where Think Tank comes into play, because what we offer is a complete turnkey solution, right from a feasibility study to a business plan, post which, based on what we derive out of it, we help you execute, set it up, and manage post that.
Okay, so let me give you a scenario. If I come to you, I say, listen, I've got a plot of land in the center of this town. It's big enough, third floor, it's got a view. I want to build a Kerala restaurant, food, that Malu food. Is that enough? Do I need to give you more? Do I need to give you less? How does it work?
That's good for a start, post which I'll ask you what your financials are, what budgets that you have in mind, and how easily the funds are available, and what your target market is, right? So yes, you want to do a nice, authentic Kerala restaurant, but do you want it to be like your regular messes which cater to quick lunch and dinner, or is it going to be an authentic fine dine? Or we're going to say, no, you know what, with the current market trend, with everything happening in the market, I want to make it a gastropub which serves fancy alcohol and cocktails and drinks, but the food will have a Kerala twist to it. So these are the various options that, just from the information you gave, we could convert into. Post which we would actually visit the site, check the site, and then understand key, one, is there a demand for it? Two, what's your competition?
Right.
And three, the most important, is it financially feasible?
So, but
with the investment going in right now, with what you aim to deliver, do the revenue and expenses and the P&L make sense?
Okay, so let me ask you then, have you ever had to just flat out reject anyone, saying this is a bad idea, please go?
Close to about 25 to 30% of our clients we do reject for this.
So how bad does the idea have to be? Because I mean, there's such little information I give you to begin with. How can you reject something offhand like that?
So certain situations, what happens is the client is pretty adamant, or he's pretty clear about what he wants to do. And he's like, boss, this is how I want to do it. This is where I want to do it. And I'm like, it might not work. But it's like, no, that's what I want to do. And I was like, sir, if you would like to go ahead, it's not going to work. We are guiding you, we're advising you. You're paying us money to give you advice.
Right.
But if you're not going to take our advice, then why would you like to pay us? We'd rather just, walk away and do our own thing from the project.
All right. So tell me, now we've got this. We've got my Malu restaurant in the middle of, let's say, Bangalore.
Correct.
Third floor, I've got a view. We've suggested a gastropub with cocktails. Now, this is so far from my vision. I have no idea what to do here.
Correct.
My chef goes, okay, screw this, I'm out.
Correct.
My manager says, I'm not happy with the gastropub. I wanted a small community restaurant.
Yep.
What now? You fired by staff and I'm stuck in your hands.
So what happens is we first help you get the project up.
Okay.
So if you are convinced by what we're saying and the numbers and say that this is going to work, because we do a research while presenting this to you. It's not just that I pulled out gastropub from the air and
it's
said
not this quickly,
right? So post which you say, yes, I still want to go ahead. We find the right team for you.
Oh, you do recruiting?
Yes. Okay. So we do recruiting. We are not a manpower agency.
How does that mean? I feel like
so the difference here is like you rightly said, your manager's gone, your chef is gone. So we say, okay, to do a gastropub with great Mallu food, we need a good chef. So with our network, with the way we have built our base, we know someone who's got that origin or that expertise, who's willing to take this up. One. Or he's a great Mallu chef who's been working in a typical restaurant somewhere, or in a 5-star, or in a restaurant, or maybe in a small little place in Kerala. But he's great with his food.
Okay.
We bring him on board.
All right.
Then the manager, and then we train them.
Okay.
We train them to fit this particular project and profile.
All right.
So that's where we come in. We are not a manpower by saying, okay, one Mallu
we
chef
don't have
supplied,
people,
one manager supplied, and we are done. We take our agency commission. We don't. We refrain from that completely.
Okay. So now we've got the staff in place. We've got the place. We've got the idea. What about the actual design? Do you do the designing? Do you refer it to another company? How does that work?
So here, based on all this, what we do is we have a budget. We have your proposed P&L in place, and we have your capex and your opex, which is your capital expenditure and everything. So we know what sort of an architect we need to use for this.
Okay.
Because it's a small gastropub, you're not going to get the top 10 architects of India who are going to come in and...
you get...
Because of your numbers. If you want to make a game changer, you want it to be up there.
If I walk in with a crore for the architect, then you can find what you want.
Yeah. So then, based on that, or someone who has the expertise. There's no point getting someone from London or Paris to design a Kerala restaurant for this, right? It's the same way. So we get someone with the expertise, we sit down with them, and since the concept and the idea has been nurtured or created by us, we give them the brief.
All right.
And then we work together where he's got the freedom of design.
Okay.
And we give him inputs on functionality in operations, because based on a menu, will this table work for me or no?
All right.
We are more of a gastropub with more eating.
Will this table work for me?
Yeah, the size of the table.
Oh my God, you go to that?
Yes. Because see, also for example is, you have these small lounge tables.
Right.
But if all my crockery, cutlery for my food is all plated in trays and big stuff, I can't have more than 2 dishes on the table.
Right.
That's a flaw.
That's actually a weird problem a lot of restaurants have.
So that's where we come in and say, no, you know what, this is the way we are planning our food, this is the way it's going to be plated, this is the way it's going to be served. So also, for example, if a lot of places where you have to use crockery, cutlery, you can't have a low table and tend to bend down. Right. It's uncomfortable. Yeah. So we designed, keeping all that in mind, there are a lot of things which come into play where the actually aesthetics of the place come into play. Right. Even the chairs that we are sitting on.
Yeah, it's a vibe of the place to give
Correct, right? If the chair's not comfortable, you can't sit there for 2 hours. So are we targeting for people to come in because
you want people to leave before 2 hours?
Exactly, right? Okay. If you're a QSR, it doesn't matter, boss, because you're going to eat and leave in 20 minutes.
Exactly.
You're not going to stay longer than that. So all these things come into play. That's how we sit with the design team. And the same with the creative agency, right? Because all these things are very subjective. And in my mind, when I say orange, it's orange.
It could be a different orange from your mind.
Yeah, right? You would be thinking, mandarin orange, citron. There are 10 shades of orange available. So things like that. So that's when we sit down with them and we guide them and we can, help them along so that what's something that was imagined by us and approved by you as my client, we can actually deliver the same.
Okay, so now we've done all this. It's an insane amount of work, and you've become like the ultimate middleman so far.
Correct.
How long does it take you to do all this?
So a complete project from start to finish, from our first meeting to actually having a guest walk into a place, is anywhere from 90 to 180 days.
That is 6 months maximum.
Yeah, maximum.
So 3 to 6 months.
3 to 6 months.
And so what you were telling me beforehand is you've got your own restaurants. You've got Watsons, which you've opened all over the place, and you work on 10 projects at a time?
Yeah, we tried. So basically, we don't cross our bandwidth. So it's not that we have a set limit of 10.
Oh,
sometimes it's about travel. Yes, it's about travel as well, because we do projects pan-India. So if a team is deputed elsewhere, that much my bandwidth cuts down in Bangalore.
Right.
So what we try to do is we have to deliver the best, because our project speaks for ourselves. Right. There's no advertising medium for us other than our own projects. Yeah. So we try to limit ourselves to doing the best. We have touched 15, 16 at one point of time. And
so how do you run 15, 16 restaurants, or at least consult with 15, 16 restaurants, run 6 Watsons, I think you've got so far?
Yeah, 6.
Yeah. And 3. Make sure you do all of this in 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, so...
Do you ever take a break?
So I do. Every few weeks I'm off for the weekend with the wife. I love driving and traveling.
Okay.
So in fact, a lot of time people say, boss, when are you working? We only see you traveling and gorging on some yummy food. And I'm
That's
like,
why your team has grown to 10 people.
so yes, but what happens to us is with this sort of industry that we are in, everything we do is a learning curve.
Right.
So even if I'm on a holiday and I stop for breakfast,
Oh,
I'm
from a
learning
small
something.
place on the
I'm
roadside,
learning
okay,
something
how is this
from
work?
there, or if I check into a resort, you're learning something from there.
Oh,
Whether it could be uniform design to the menu to the pricing. So it's difficult for me to switch off. Yeah, that's true. What you're
Your
saying
wife
is
must be real happy on holiday.
so yeah. Initially, we used to have issues where she's like, every place you walk into is not your client. Calm down. So I was like, no, it's prospective. And then it used to be, yeah, your Guju blood will always be out. But yeah, it's exciting. It's good. Sometimes it does get strenuous because there are a lot of multiple agencies at play.
Right.
Like your contractor at site to your
It's a lot of
design.
the
Yeah, there are
grunt work.
multiple things that you're playing, right? You're like a conductor in the orchestra. So it does get harrowing. It does get a bit of stressful. But hey, that's life.
Yeah. So I want to talk about just the last thing. I want to talk about Watson's. Since you guys run it personally, you and your
Correct.
partner. How is that? How different is that to just being a consultant?
So one, Watson's was a dream for a lot of us because.
Watson's is a what? A gastropub? What do you
So
call it?
Watson's, we started it calling the local, your neighborhood bar, your community pub.
I think it's a little too fancy to
Yeah,
be that.
that's how we started, right?
Okay.
So the whole idea was like, especially see when you go abroad, what happened with Watson's was, like abroad, your suburbs or like Bangalore today, it's so spread out that you would have the local pub or one in your area where everyone in that area would gather.
Yeah, you can't travel an hour.
Yeah,
to go
like
to-
today, if someone from Sarjapur is not going to go to Yalanka for a beer, right? So you go to something in your area, and that's what we wanted to create. And we found this place, and as you know, friends, we had always said right from school and college that
Everyone wants to own a bar.
yeah, we'll own one bar and then we'll just sit down and relax. So that's how it started off, and the whole idea was.
Every late night conversation ends up with let's own a bar.
So and then the whole concept with that, or the story with that, was that we wanted a place where we could just sit and eat regular comfort food, which you wouldn't get in a bar.
Okay.
So basically, like how you go to your club or you go to your local bar on the roadside and you get your boiled peanut masala or sundal or some
Something
local
something
food.
that's not fancy.
Yeah, it's not fancy exactly, which was difficult to get in a bar. So that's what we started. We said, we would take it to that level and bring you stuff which not everyone can eat and everyone can enjoy, and that's how we started the first Watson's. And it was a dream come true because we opened a kilometer from a place called Sherlock's.
That was my next question. Is that a coincidence?
Yeah. So
How can it be a coincidence that we have Sherlock and Watson's in Bangalore?
So Sherlock's has been one of the old icons of Bangalore, like your pub world and downtown and all.
Right.
And we all have been there. All of us have grown up, have been there, have had drinks illegally, running away from home and sorry, we are live.
It's not what you can do, it's out there.
So we've always been to Sherlock's. So then we were like, so what do we call ourselves? So we said, you know what, let's call ourselves Watson's, because Watson's is the sidekick.
Right.
Sherlock's has been there for 15, 20 years now. Sherlock's is in. Sherlock's is there. Now Watson's is in. Let's Watson's show that, we are there. And
so it was linked in that sense.
It was linked in that sense, saying that, we are
the companion.
We are the companion. We are part. We are not, because especially the first one was less than a kilometer from each other, right? So we're like, we are part of you. And coincidentally, Sherlock owners and us are very good friends as well. So we actually, so they're perfectly fine, and that's how it started off. And that whole typical old English pub art, that feel also worked well with us.
Right. Yeah, you've got
And that's how we started. So initially we were like, you know what, the project's been delayed. There's no lift working in the building. We're on the 4th floor. And all, shivers, nervous. The first night the partners got together and we're like, it's all right, guys, if it doesn't work, it's okay. At least we have a drinking place. But touch wood, even without the lift, everything ran out good for us. And there's been no looking back ever since. So we are now in 3 cities and 6 outlets. So looking for more. And that's it.
So, but I mean, I've got to ask is, when you come from restaurateur point of view. You've made it sound very easy. You get an idea, you hire some people, it's all good. You get a lift, it works out. But restaurants fail at an incredible rate, especially in
100%.
India, where people are even less willing to go out and spend their money on something they can do at home. So how do you guarantee? I mean, because you've had insane success.
Correct.
Rates at least.
Yes.
So I mean, you've gone from small, like you said, small places to something like Skybar, which
Correct.
is your design as well. So how do you guarantee something like that on such a wide range of restaurants, bars, whatever?
Touchwood, for us, what we do, like I said, is we have a very scientific approach to it. We do a math before we come up with the concept. It's not like I walked into the place, chalo bas yahan pe North Indian kholte. No, it's not like that, right? Like I said, we ask you for your questions, and like you said, you want to open a Mallu restaurant, blah, blah, blah. Then we do a lot of homework, feasibility, reports, analysis to see what will work. And then if we decide a gastropub, we also look at successes and fails in that.
Oh, in that area.
In that area, and learn from everyone's mistakes. It's not like that we haven't done any mistakes.
Okay.
Yes, we do have a good success rate, but we also have a few failures that we have learned from.
So what happens there if you fail? Do you give the money back, or is it?
So what has happened in failure? Failure occurs for 3 reasons.
Okay.
One is consistency, because what we started with and
Oh,
has
the idea
deviated over
changed
time
without,
completely.
without anyone thinking about
Yeah.
it, of course. Okay.
Correct. 2 is environmental reasons, licensing, laws, government, blah. And 3 is internal, the ownership.
Well, that's sounds a lot like you're saying all the failures were external problems.
9 out of 10 times they were.
Okay.
There have been 1 or 2 where we have expected it to go in a certain way, but unfortunately we have been ahead of the curve, where we took a chance and we have failed. So
Happens.
it happens, right?
Yeah.
It does. But luckily for us, we could count them in one hand. So
What about the owners there in that case? Are they?
So yes, they are a little bit upset, but it's something that we all knew about before getting into
possibility.
Yes, because like I said, as advisors, we work together.
Right.
We never say, one, boss, do it my way or the highway.
Right.
Or 2, that this is definitely going to work, don't worry, and I'm faffing. It is.
You don't give impossible guarantees.
Like I said, everything numbers are on the table, right? So we tell you the pros and cons of it. So like we said, the gastropub, it might not work. So we'll put those numbers down and say, okay, with the gastropub, your ROI, your P&L, your break-even is this graph.
Right.
But if you do a traditional Kerala mess without alcohol, your capex is also less, and this will be your graph.
Right.
So at the end, the final decision is always on your hands. You decide, no, Amit, I'm ready to take the risk. So it's a known decision that we get into.
Right. Okay. So last question. This has been bothering me ever since I first started talking to you. Think tank. What is that got to do with anything you're doing? Especially with think tank with a C.
So to be honest, what had happened was my partner and me started this company 8 years ago, and when we were heading for a couple of meetings. So initially we were like, it was bootstrap, chapel strap, you call it, no strap, there's nothing left. So that's how we started, because we quit everything and got into this.
Right.
He quit his job, he was the CEO of Opus.
Oh, wow.
And the whole Trumpet, the organization, so he used to run everything. So he quit that, and I quit the family business and said, let's venture into this, let's try something new. And we were going for a couple of meetings, and they were like, boss, which company's name do we use? Oh, we don't have a name. We're a consultant firm. No. And just at that time, we said that we just don't want to be called as restaurant consultants. We want to be consultants for the F&B industry as such.
Okay.
So I said, you know what, we want to become the hospitality think tank. Like how you have think tanks everywhere.
Political think tank.
Yeah, political think tank. We want to become the hospitality think tank where we generate ideas, concepts, we own, we create, we do all this.
Right.
So then we're like, yeah, we'll do that. And so while heading for the meeting, we were Googling, and I'm like, the moment you type think tank the right way, everyone comes up, right? So I was like, no, that's more of an ad. Yeah. So I said, what do we do? I said, let's try a new spelling, just for kicks. So we tried, and nothing was there at that point of time.
So your name is based on a Google search.
Yeah. So then we said, okay, we are a think tank. And then Anupam came up with the tagline that we are a think tank, a hospitality firm, and we help you think better. So that was the conversation in the car before the meeting, and it stuck. So
as long as you were prepared, I suppose. Well, thanks so much for joining me.
My pleasure.
Yeah, we really shouldn't have had this before lunch because now all I can think about is Mallu gastropubs and I can't think of a single one that exists.
There's the Toddy house close by, right?
You think my boss is going to be okay with me going drinking in the middle of the day? Anyway, that's been Startup Stars in the Big Scope, and join us again next time.